Hey guys, what's up? Jrockgames here. I'm coming back with another video finally after so long. I'm also streaming a lot more over on Twitch, so if you want to catch my content, go hang out over there. I stream most days, especially right now during pre-patch. I'm doing a lot of streaming. But in terms of this video, we're looking at Affliction and Destruction in their openers. Specifically, just that first minute or so we're looking at. We're not going to be looking at going into the rotation fully. That will be another video to come. But this is all pre-patch data, so information may change, so do not take this word as gospel. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Okay, so let's start with talents. Talents for Affliction, it's pretty simple. You're narrowed down to really a main set of talents. So, for your first roll, you're going to run Death Bolt. Really, there's no other option unless you can snipe the charge from Drained Soul. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth it for you. Just run Death Bolt. And with that, really, when it comes down to two target cleave, it's between Brythe and Absolute Corruption. Most people are going to probably lean towards Absolute Corruption as it's one less GCD to manage. Then you have Siphon Life. This is going to be your go-to single target talent, hands down. Tier 45, as always from Legion, it's your choice. I personally alternate between Demon Skin and Burning Rush depending on situations and boss fights. Row 60 is your AoE section. You're going to want to mainly go Phantom Singularity on single target just because it's going to put dot. It's an extra dot and it also heals you. And it's a big chunk of healing. Soda Seeds, it's been nerfed a lot since Legion, so I wouldn't really recommend running it. Now we got Final Tape. That's going to be maybe a Mythic Plus thing. And then row 75, your choice as well. Circle, just use as much as you can abuse it, basically. Row 90 is where we start getting into decisions. Haunt with Death Bolt creates a nice little window where you're going to get a whole bunch of damage out. So I recommend taking that, as a lot of people do. Sacrifice is good. It's a little bit of randomness to it. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking that if you have to. Then Creeping Death. Creeping Death is basically Hood, the legendary from Legion, but on steroids. So you basically want to take that at all times because that's going to increase the speed of your dots doing damage. So Corruption's going to reach full damage faster. Agony, Siphon Life are all going to reach their full damage faster. But then you also have Soul Conduit from Legion, and then you have Dark Soul Misery, which as it is right now is not worth taking on single target. It is basically a lust, but it's not worth taking. So as a quick rundown, you want to run Death Bolt, Siphon Life, Phantom Singularity, Haunt, and Creeping Death as your main single target talents. Okay, so let's get into this rotation. It's pretty simple. Keep in mind, I did not put the pull timer on this, but it's pretty simple nonetheless. So around 30 seconds, you're going to want to pre-pot, and once your timer hits 2, you're going to want to cast your Haunt. Then you're going to put your dots on, starting with Agony, Siphon Life, Corruption. Corruption lasts because it does damage instantly. Then you're going to want to UA, or use your Phantom Singularity first. Either way is okay. I haven't really noticed a difference using no matter what, other way. Then you want to use the rest of your UAs till you can, and you want to do your Death Glare next, because you want to extend all those dots, and then you're going to want to drop your Death Bolt. You want to use your Death Bolt after you use your Glare, because then it will deal more damage, because your dots are longer, there's more dots on the target, so therefore the Death Bolt, which does damage from the dot percentage left to deal, will be dealt. And then you're basically going to get into the normal rotation where you're going to get your Haunt up as much as basically you're going to keep 100% uptime on Haunt if you can, because it's just a mana cost and mana is not an issue anymore for Warlocks. Then you're going to use your Shadow Bolt as your filler, keep refreshing your dots, and then about 10 seconds before your Death Bolt is on cooldown, you're going to want to start conserving again. Make sure your dots are fully refreshed, and use UAs approximately 4 seconds before your Death Bolt. And then make sure your Haunt is up for your Death Bolt, and then you'll use your Death Bolt. And that's just the basic simplified version of the rotation. Okay, and we are on to Destruction. My favorite spec personally, just consistently wise, and a lot of people I know spec. Really, Destruction has not changed much since Legion. It's still, at the core, a builder-spender like every other Warlock spec. and you still got your Chaos Bolt, your Incinerate, your Immolate, and etc. Really, the only changes are in the talent tree and how certain abilities work together. And for that, let's go ahead and take a look at these talents real quickly. Okay, so we're now looking at the talents. We have our first row to tier 15. We have Flashover, Eradication, Soulfire. So right now for single target, your go-to for the most part is Eradication. Chaos Bolts increase the damage you deal to the target by 10% for 7 seconds. It's basically the same as it was in Legion, just a couple numbers are different. Then you have Flashover. Conflagrate deals 25% increased damage and grants an additional charge of Backdraft. So this is more of like what couple of your traits were on your artifact weapon that we no longer have. Then Soulfire is back, but as of right now, it's not really worth using on its 20-second cooldown. So we're going to go with Eradication for our number 1 tier talent. And then, so tier 30, right now, if you were to look at Warcraft logs, you'll see a lot of people running Reverse Entropy, and not a lot of people running Internal Combustion, but there will be a good chunk of people doing it. And you'll be doing good numbers with Internal Combustion. That's just because that, numerically wise, is the strongest talent there is. There's a little bit of a wiggle room, which is what I sort of mentioned to earlier. It's going to interplay differently than you're used to. But I'll explain that in a second. Shadowburn is Shadowburn. It replaces your Conflagrate, Soul Shard Fragments, but it's really not that strong. So you're not going to really consider that. There may be some niche moments where you want to. But, so let's go into Internal Combustion. Internal Combustion basically is when your Chaos Bolt hits the target, it deals part of your immolation damage. It consumes up to 5 seconds of it and deals that damage instantly. So that sort of interplays with how you're going to finish off your rotation, which I'll allude to later on. But then Reverse Entropy is just your basic, your spell so chance carrying 15% haste. Because it's so passive, you don't have to do anything, it's just passive. People are running that right now instead of worrying about Internal Combustion. Then, as always, row 45, your choice. Row 60 is your AoE. And for single target, you're just going to want to run Cataclysm. Unless there is, say, a reason to run Fire and Brimstone, just run Cataclysm. Its burst damage and the fact that it applies Immolate is a lot more beneficial to you when you're running Internal Combustion. And Inferno, that may be good on fights like High Command. I'm not so sure. I haven't really done much testing with Inferno. I just know it's useless on single target. As normal, row 75 is your choice. And then row 90 is basically Grimoire Supremacy all the way. I haven't really seen anybody even touching Roaring Blaze or Grimoire Sacrifice, even for AoE. Grimoire Sacrifice could do good on AoE. I haven't seen anybody run it. I haven't played with it myself because I've only actually done single target so far. So stay tuned. I will be doing an updated AoE and single targets guide for both specs. But row 100 single target, you're going to want to go Dark Soul Instability. It's basically Dark Soul from before in WoD. It's going to increase your crit by 30% for 20 seconds. Now that's big, and we want to continue to use that whenever we can. It's a 2-minute cooldown, and it's replacing our 2-minute cooldown from before, which wasn't really that cooldown-ish. And then you got Channel Demon Fire, which was the go-to single target talent in Legion, but this is more of a cleave splash damage talent now. So we're not really going to take this unless it's going to be a couple little mini ads like a dungeon boss. But that's really it for talents. You're going to want to basically run Eradication, Internal Combustion, Cataclysm, and Grimoire Supremacy with Dark Soul Instability for the highest numbers you can get. Keep in mind, you can also run Reverse Entropy if Internal Combustion gets a little too tricky for you to manage. Okay, so your Destruction opener is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be pre-pot at around 3 seconds into a Cataclysm. Then you're going to want to refresh your Immolate as soon as you can, and then you're going to go into Inferno, into Dark Soul, into a Chaos Bolt. Then you're going to weave your Chaos Bolt in with your Incinerates and your Conflagrates, trying to get as many Chaos Bolts out as you can inside your Dark Soul window. It then it's basically you're going to fall into your normal rotation, which is you're going to use your Immolate whenever it's running low, and if you can, use your Cataclysm whenever you can. You want to keep using Cataclysm on cooldown as it refreshes your Immolate for you. You never want to shard cap. You want to try to keep Eradication up as much as you can, and you're always going to be wanting to weave Incinerates in whenever you have a second chance for it. And same with Conflagrates right before you're going to use the Chaos Bolt, because you will get that buff. After that, it's pretty much rinse and repeat for Destruction. It's basically the same spec as you played in Legion, but to me it feels a lot more fluid. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are wanting to see more content, and check out my Twitch. I will be doing a lot more Warlock stuff. A link will be in the description. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your guys' day.